Have you ever quit or took a break from Jailbreak? What was the reason why? Did the game get boring? Was it a pain to catch up with the new updates? Or was it the insane amount of bots and hackers in the game which made the game really hard to enjoy playing? Me personally, it was the third reason, and that's what we'll be talking about in this video. Jailbreak hacking history goes all the way back to the start of the game in 2017. Jailbreak was one of those games where it was inevitable to have hackers since day one. Having a grind-focused game that gives you cash to get stuff in the game is the perfect ingredient for an exploiter takeover. So obviously, you have to stop this from happening or the game is just going to be straight up miserable. And the game does have anti-cheat detectors. Do they work well? Well, I think if you're literally able to advertise your own exploiting software into the game chat multiple times while hackers kill servers and ruin the fun, then maybe, just maybe, it needs some improvements. But before we get to some solutions, I do have some numbers I do want to share with you guys to show how bad the hacking situation has gotten. From March 29th to May 1st, I decided to document how many hackers I find in game and put them in a doc. I showed proof of them hacking as well, which is why I have so much footage regarding hackers. And I also differentiated them by mains and ults and cops and criminals. And after a month, I found a total of 87 hackers in the game in just 33 days. That means there are 2.6 hackers per day. But that was a while ago, so I decided to get a more reliable modern metric. So I did it again for a week. And this was when the Orion was available, so consider that. In just a week, I managed to find 49 hackers. That's more than half of the hackers in the last metric, and it comes down to 7 hackers per day. Here's some graphs if you'd like to know some specific stuff. You can pause the video to look at them, but I'm gonna move on. Now let's look into one of the alt accounts and see their friends. Trust me, this will make sense in a minute. So, which one should I look at? You, Mr. Lobsterfish MC. He's friends with a person named Dupa, and if we look at his friends lists, you can see that he's friends with multiple other alt accounts, and they all have the same badges as each other from Jailbreak. But it's not just him. Let's look at this guy. He has a friend, and that friend is also friends with other bot accounts that have the same badges. Not every bot has friends though, but if we look deeper than usual with these accounts, we could find people literally running their own business with multiple bots and alts. Now that you understand how big the whole exploit issue has gotten, whose fault is it? Who do we point the finger to? Well, I honestly don't think it's Badimo's fault for this epidemic. They are fully aware of the situation and they are doing their best to fix it, and they also ban hackers from the game, which we'll talk more about later. However, Roblox is the one who has been ignorant about the botting issue, not only for Jailbreak, but for multiple games on the platform. If you've seen any videos about the botting issue on Roblox, which I highly recommend, there's servers that are just full of bots. Pet Simulator and Grow Garden are good examples of this. This is me in a botted Pet Sim server. And Roblox has done some stuff here and there, but they haven't found a good enough long-term solution yet, and made themselves the root and problem of this epidemic. Now I don't want to give Badimo a slap on the wrist, because their anti-cheat detectors barely work, and they could be doing so much more with it, but they aren't. There's stuff in this game that these hackers are doing that's literally impossible to do normally, and like I mentioned, you can get them banned, but you need to use Roblox reports, which might sound dumb and probably doesn't work, but they do ban waves and the accounts on the list don't seem to be activated anymore, so at least it's working somehow. But clearly it's not enough, so we need to work on the anti-cheat, maybe even add some stuff that will get players banned instead of kicked. So let's move on to that. I feel like Badimo is being too soft about their anti-cheat and not using it for their full potential. So here are some good examples and detectors to add for it. Let's first talk about some general problems with the anti-cheat. This is stuff I'll be mentioning a lot throughout this video. It's letting bots literally be able to fly in Camaros at impossibly fast speeds and go at impossibly high altitudes, and then instantly come down as if nothing happened. Oh yeah, and they can literally spawn their own platform just to sit on for however long. Put a detector to see how fast the car is going, how high it is, and how impossibly stable it is. If all of them meet the requirements of being a hacker, then ban them from the game. Auto-killing is very annoying for cops. It makes the cop team shrink like crazy. And here's the thing, they do full damage, which you can't do behind walls. So add a detector to see if they're doing full damage behind walls. You might think, they're still gonna do damage, just not as much. And you'd be right. So we should have a distance detector to make the auto kill not work at all. And finally, have a detector on how they do damage to stuff. If they don't have a weapon but still being able to kill NPCs and pop tires, then that would activate the detector and get them banned or kicked. And just like what I mentioned earlier, see if they're able to do damage through walls. Now that we got the basics out of the way, let's talk about putting detectors in the robberies. For bank, you obviously need a keycard in order to do it, but not for these guys, they just do bank with no keycard, and this is obviously a thing that should be detected. And you should also add another detector for them getting inside the vault, because they go straight into the vault without finishing opening. If they're just floating there, you can say this about any robbery, then add a detector to that. For JSTOR, just look at how they punch the jewels. If they're punching much faster than people normally do, then ban them from the game. For the museum, add a detector to see how they get in and out of the museum. If they get out before the switches are activated, then ban them. If they get through the doors before the switch are activated, then ban them as well. For power plant, there's already a detector for how much cash you can get, making the limit 6.4k cash. But they just wait it out until it gets to the limit. Now we already established some ideas to detect flying vehicles and being able to float in the air so consistently, so we're gonna have to rely on that. But let's say we aren't. They enter through the top of the volcano and wait midair. This is where the detector strikes in. The second they enter through the volcano effortlessly through the top, the detector comes in and stops them. The cargo plane robbery. They just instantly come in from their Camaro, which is already impossible to do, and take multiple crates before anyone else does. Freaking big back. So add a detector when players can get crates, so when the hacker tries to get a crate before everyone else, they get kicked instead. Now for cargo ship. It's like the same thing as the plane robbery, but this time add a detector that notices how quick they get each container. If it detects it's humanly impossible to get 2 crates in a blank amount of time, then the hacker gets banned. You can also add a detector to see how quick it gets to the turn-in area, which would probably be more accurate than my previous example. For the tomb, first add a detector to see if you ragdoll when you fall. You can honestly do this with any scenario in the game, since they refuse to ragdoll. And add another detector to see how quick the hacker finishes the robbery, since they finish it super quick before everyone else. For the casino/crown jewel, the hacker enters through the roof and goes in without the elevator, so we should add a detector to see if the player is in the elevator. If not, the hacker gets removed. For mansion, just put up a flying detector to see how long they are going to be in air for, and an NPC damage detector, since sometimes they don't do damage from the NPCs. And finally, the oil rig. The oil rig feels like it's built to stop hackers, but it never works. First add a detector to see if hackers use their car or helicopter to get there, as you only need a boat to get there. Second, add a detector to make sure that they climb the ladder, as in actually climb it, not just fly up. And finally, add a laser detector. You know how you die from the lasers if you try to get to the oil rig with a helicopter? We're going to add a detector for that. If you don't die after a certain distance or amount of times it shoots you, the detector gets activated and it kicks you from the game. Now that we pretty much put the anti-cheat detectors on steroids, there's been one word I've been avoiding to say during all my examples, and I saved it for this moment. The word? Perfect. Not that the ideas are perfect, there are definitely some stuff I am missing, but as in how the hackers move. They move perfectly in straight lines across the map, shoot perfectly at cops through walls, and move at impossibly fast speeds and go up and down so perfectly. Now, we already addressed that these things should have detectors, but I'm saying it here again because it should be the mindset while working on the anti-cheat. If it's too perfect and humanly impossible to do, then add a detector for it. I believe if we have a mindset something like that, then this hacker problem could probably be patched for good. Whew! That was a lot of saying right there, but thank you so much for watching this video and listening to me to yap about trying to stop hackers. I hope this was an interesting video and helped bring more thoughts and solutions to stop these kinds of people. And if you want to share any other solutions and suggestions, or even some experiences you have with some hackers in the game, then the comment section is all yours. But for now, I'll see you guys in my next video. Later. Goodbye. Probably goodbye, Pink. And hello, Diamond 3! Yeah! Hey, color. Everything good?